right, it shows that we're live on our YouTube and Facebook platform. So I will be checking that here over the next couple of minutes and make sure that it's streaming okay and that folks are starting to see us.
Okay.
Great, I already see a couple of you on here. We're just waiting a few minutes. So if you're already on here with us, react to the video. You can start commenting so I can see who's on and I can give you some love this Wednesday chilly morning that we have. All right, awesome. It looks like we are going. So let's go ahead and get kicked off and started. Good morning and happy Wednesday to you all. I hope for those of you that had Monday off in observance of MLK Day, that you spent that time maybe perusing some of his quotes, reading a little bit about him, and implementing some of that in your daily lifestyle. And if you were not off, then I hope you had an amazing work day and that you were still conscious and aware of what that day was and its significance in our history. Now, because Monday, of course, was a national holiday, we did not have our usual Monday broadcast with one of our elected officials. And I usually have still held them to trying to have meetings with us on broadcasts and everything, even on holidays. But this time, knowing that their schedules have been so packed with onboarding and numerous items, I decided to kind of give them a break. And instead, we will pick back up with our elected officials starting next week to kick off that week for us, giving us some updates and a chance to highlight some key things on their radar. Now, if you are a first-time viewer with us, then I hope you do not let it be the last, and you can make sure of that in the future by not only liking this Facebook page or YouTube channel, but by hitting the follow button on our Facebook page or the subscribe button on the YouTube platform. That allows you to be notified when we go live in the future. It also allows you to see any of the information that we post kind of as a priority on your news feed. So that way you're not missing out on those timely alerts that we have. Now, we're on all social media platforms. So if you are not already engaged with us, you can locate us on Twitter and Instagram at Westy Chamber. You can also find us, of course, on LinkedIn, Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And if you've never been to our website, which it has a barrage of resources and information, that is the link for you. That's westminsterchamber.biz. And of course, you can go there and find out some information that's timely and relevant. All the social media platforms basically allow us to share different messages. We do a whole lot of everything. And when we have the different platforms, they allow us to communicate what we do to the specific audiences that we have on those networks. So find us, follow us, like us, engage with us on all those platforms. One cool way that you can start engaging with us on this broadcast today is by commenting on the video along the way, as our speakers sharing updates or information. If I ask you to do something in the chat, please do that as well. But you can also hit the share button on this video so others in your network can see that we're live and can kind of pause what they're doing and join us for a few minutes, or maybe put it on their radar to watch it as a replay. So I am Juliette Abdel, the Westminster Chamber President and CEO, and I've been thrilled to continue to bring to you these timely broadcasts for nearly 2 years now, and highlighting a variety of different partners in the community and resources. My Wednesdays I love because it touches on our businesses that are connected in the community, and you get to meet them past just their brand. So we'll get started by highlighting some of those folks that are on here with us. I see Ann Hogan. Ann, thank you so much for being on here with us. Love the photo. And this is how any of the comments will show up, your profile picture, and of course the comment. So hopefully it's something that you are happy with. If it's not, we're totally fine with it. It'll make us laugh and we'll kind of move forward. I've also gotten my current chairman, Brian Dice, giving us a good morning message to both John and myself. Good morning to you, Brian. Thank you for tuning in. We've got Parker Brown on here also with a good morning remark. I see Justin and I also see Carol. Thank you both for being on here. And thank you, Justin, for giving us a good morning message a little bit later on here. But so appreciate it. If you're not comfortable commenting, know that I'll see you if you engage on the video, and I'll be able to give you kind of some love. Again, totally appreciate the support that you have for our local businesses. Now, Wednesday is the welcome to our network, and it never ceases to amaze me what I personally learned from this time with our members and partners. I've got John with me, and John is with Tailwinds of Hope. And John, I'm very thrilled to have you on here with me. So I don't want to hog up this broadcast so much with kind of our homework, and instead transition it to you and just share with me a little bit about you. Are you from Colorado? Are you have you been around here long enough to say that you are? I mean, who is John so that the public knows you?
Absolutely. So we have a foundation called Tailwinds of Hope. I was born and raised in Westminster, attended Random High School. Also worked at the City of Westminster for several years during college and high school. So the roots are deep. Went to, Adams District at the time, and now it's Westminster Public School. So that's kind of my background. Still kind of live in the same general vicinity of where we grew up. And our kids were also raised in the Adams 12 school district. We went to Mountain Range High School, which is in Westminster. So our roots are deep, and we want to give back to the community. And our main goal and function of our foundation is to provide scholarships to students. Right now, we give 3 student scholarships, 2 to Mountain Range and 1 to Westminster High School. Each scholarship's $2,500. And we promote, just not kids attending college. We want kids that are attending trade schools as well. So we're open to any pursuit of living the kids' dreams out and making their goals easier for them with our scholarships.
Yeah, and I love the roots that you have here in our community. They've been deep, and you've chosen to make it also a place for your own family and the next generation of you. And I think that speaks to your role in nonprofit, because a lot of times it's intertwined on your heart is in the community that you're serving, which makes total sense when you started explaining a little bit more about Tailwinds of Hope. So I've got some questions for you, and I know you quickly shared with us that a few different things. One, that you've got some kiddos in the area. Have they also attended a similar schools? Are they studying outside of here? Or are they still young?
So so we had 4 kids total. 3 of them, like I said, all 4 of them attended Mountain Range. Okay. All have advanced degrees. The reason we started the foundation is my son, who attended Mountain Range, was attending Embry-Riddle University pilot's license, commercial pilot's license. And he was in his last month of school when he was obtaining his commercial pilot's license. And the plane he was in, the wing fell off, he crashed and died. So that's why we formed the foundation, is to give back. And his big dream in life was, pursuing his dream of traveling and being a pilot. So we want to give back to the community and let his legacy provide that opportunity for other kids that want to advance their life and dream as well.
What a beautiful way to continue his legacy. I'm so sorry that your family has faced such a huge tragedy. That was just so unexpected. I had no idea. So I'm sorry if I'm taking this so deeply, but
Right.
That was a big experience that you've lived through, and to be able to kind of turn that into something that not only honors his memory but continues to live past his time and continues to give back and give hope. And I'm assuming is Tailwinds spin-off of him studying in kind of aviation and wanting to do that, or how did the name come to the formation of it?
Yeah, it's kind of a dual thing. He was also served 4 years in the Navy on the USS Truman carrier. So they have that kind of thing of tailwinds too as well. And because of pursuit of being a pilot, and our motto is kind of let hope decide your future, not hate or any other thing. So that's kind of how we combine stuff together.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Well, thank you for his service that he's provided, and I'm sure he had so much that he contributed to us. I can already tell from just a couple of the things that you've shared with me. So we'll sidebar if it's not too much to ask,
Yeah,
but I would love to keep picking your
absolutely.
brains so I can learn more about it. Tailwinds provide scholarships, and these scholarships, like you said, they're not only for higher education, they're for trades, they're for anyone that's really trying to pursue an education past their secondary that's there, really empower them to find an avenue that they can better themselves. Are you restricted on where you're giving them the funds? So for example, if it is someone, do they have to be in Colorado to apply? Or can they be a resident from outside, but they're looking to attend a Colorado school?
So the limitations are, so we give out $25,000 worth of scholarships a year. Our premier one is a $15,000 scholarship. Students available for that to apply for that scholarship. And then we have 2 scholarships that we give to Mountain Range High School students, as well as one to Westminster Public Schools students. So anyone can apply. Like I said, it can be either to a 4-year degree, or we've had real estate degree people apply, a couple of video through a scholarship student at those 2 schools, and a senior and pursuing your dreams in a higher education, you're eligible for the scholarship. And what we do is we donate the money to the foundation of both school districts, and then they give that money to the kids once they're enrolled in the schools that they want to attend.
Yeah, I love that accountability too for it, and turning around and not necessarily just providing the scholarship to them, but ensuring that it's getting in the right hands, that they can be motivated to go and follow through on that dream. I feel like there's sometimes a disconnect when it is directly to it, and they don't follow through for whatever reason life throws at them, honestly. Anne's commenting really fast on here. Thank you so much for this quick comment, Anne. And she is actually just giving you a quick thank you, John, for your helping the kiddos out at Mountain Range. And I've seen a lot of you hop on and some of you hop off and continue to kind of circulate with us. We've got John with Tailwinds of Hope. He is a resident and a longtime member here in our community, and has founded this awesome foundation to provide scholarship to kiddos to pursue education that helps them in whatever profession that they're willing to pursue. He's got a really a heart story that's behind this, and I think that's why it's been as prominent, and why he's going out there and spreading the word so significantly on it. What are some things that you've been relying on for the community to do to support you, John? I mean, do you do auctions, for example? Do you do raffles, or what are things that you look for from the community to support you to try and kind of continue to grow your sphere of influence and your continued impact?
Right now, we have 2 avenues. One through our website, where we get donations from corporations. And then our big fundraiser is a golf tournament we have yearly at the Highland Hills Golf Tournament golf course. And every year we've averaged over 200 golfers at this tournament, and we
Okay.
roughly raised $30,000 to $35,000 at that tournament. And because of the pandemic over the last couple of years, it's been hard to get into some of the other stuff that we want to do out in the community. We want to have a kind of a thing where we bring the kids back and do a dinner for them at night, let them get up there and talk about themselves, and then do fundraising, through that avenue, kind of a gala at nights, and, give the kids the recognition that they deserve for, pursuing their dreams and goals and degrees. So as soon as, we can start doing that, that's some of the other options we do. But right now we've been averaging about $75,000 in between donations and the golf tournament a year to fund our scholarships.
That's awesome. I love that you're doing some sort of that community event just to continue to raise awareness. I think it was probably timely too with COVID and still having a golf tournament because people were still hitting the greens. And what I've done, and what I've done is, you were just sharing this, is actually include the website for folks so that they can see it. And that's tailwindsofhope.org, where you can find out more about their golf tournament, more about how to donate to them online, and then their continual programs that they hope to have here in the future. How long has the foundation been around, John? Is this a few years?
We started in 2019. My son Zachary died in 2018. And then we went to work after that to start the foundation and formation of the foundation in 2019. Yeah. And our first golf tournament was in October of 2019. And now we've moved it to the first week in August at Highland Hills. So that's kind of our permanent show right now.
Perfect. I'm just including that for folks in the chat section for them, that the golf tournament's annually in August over at the Highland Hills Golf Tournament. So this will be hopefully the third annual that you're hosting as a golf tournament then this year.
It'll actually be our fourth.
Okay.
Yes. And 3 have been at Highland Hills, and the first one we started out was in Fort Lupton. So like I said, we average over 200 golfers every year. It's a must play. Everyone wants to get in. We have to hold people out because of the limitations of the golf course. But like I said, it fills up every year. Mm-hmm. And we're working on all the details, the brochures and sponsorships that we'll have available this year. And that'll probably be out within the next week or two. And that's one of my main things is through the businesses of Westminster to, get that out to them so that they can support. Because in the end, we want to make these scholarships permanent, and we want to fund them for a long, long time. We have a lot of work to get there, but that's our main goal, is to make this a permanent scholarship at both high schools.
I love that. What has been the demand so far on those scholarships? Are you seeing it has it been competitive? And you've had to find a way to provide the scholarship, or are you leaving that all on kind of the foundation to assist in that process as well?
So we're involved with both foundations at both schools to interview students. They provide all the students. Westminster does a very good thing with their foundation and put the students in the right scholarships that's right for them with the right dollar amount. We'll get a list of like 10 to 20 students that we'll interview and work through the process to nominate and give those scholarships away. And like I said, even in recent couple years, the college participation is dropping. And that's kind of why we wanted to focus on the other trades as well, because it's a lot quicker, a lot less debt for kids to go to the trade routes schools and get out quicker. So that's why we've been really pushing that among the students. And with both school districts having the vocational studies that they've had over the years, makes it easy, and we get a lot of applications. So they'll probably end up taking applications all the way through the end of February. And then we'll start working through the process in March to whittle it down and do interviews and then award the scholarships to the students.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And the more you touch on the trades, the more it hits, right where we need it most. That's a severely lacking
It
industry. And I
is.
often wonder, you're just like, what's going to happen, right? And people are just they're not as interested, period, in a lot of industries. We're seeing it right now with just
Right.
virtual challenges, right? But even more so with these things that keep us going. I mean, if you don't have a mechanic, how are you going
Yep.
to get those things fixed and get it done? A plumber, I mean, those basic things. And you come out, and it's exactly what you said. You come out and you're building yourself equity and wealth, because you're not in a
Yes.
position where you've got all this debt and it's going to take you years to be paying that off, because you've inherited all along the way. Um,
Absolutely.
Brian commented on this video with us. And as I'm pulling this up, I just want to quickly also give a shout out to Lynn. I saw you hop on here and tune in with us. So thank you for reaching out this morning and being part of the broadcast with us. Brian is sharing that there is a huge need for those folks to work in the trade. So it's great that you've added that category in and you've geared those scholarships to it. And I think, that's a testament to you. I know that has been strongly woven with your own personal story and everything, John. Sometimes those scholarships that kids have access to are limited to only, a higher, like a 4-year institution, or an institution they specify it to something that's not the trades. And it makes it harder to route those kiddos into a different route.
And absolutely. And the thing we found out, and a lot with scholarship programs across, the board is, a lot of them are for the higher end, 4.0 GPAs, the higher end dollar amounts, right? And these kids don't have the ability to really go get those. Whereas, hey, we're going to talk to everyone. We want everyone. It takes all of us, to advance our society, to be a part of it. So
Mm-hmm.
um, it really gives those kids a chance to get out in front of us and say, "Hey, I deserve it because of this and that." So that's huge for us.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And the application process, you mentioned the schools all handle it, or the couple of schools that you have. And I'm assuming your vision, you want this to be a long term, that you also do you have plans of trying to expand it past the individual schools that you're already doing, or is that going to be kind of dictated based on what you're able to grow over these next several months into years?
The the thing with the local ones here, we would probably add more,
Okay.
or advance more dollars. But for my vision, I'd rather give more scholarships. So we would probably give 2 or 3 to each school, if we have the money to endow it and do that as well. And then, if we're able to raise enough money where we can have like a whole general sight of the whole state of Colorado for someone to apply to be a pilot, then yes, we would do that as well. But um, we want to give back to the people that, and the schools that our kids and we attended first.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, and I was quickly looking over your website, and you have a pretty well put together website, so I commend you for that. Sometimes it's
Thanks.
very hard for people to follow pages and just
Yep,
be able to access those things, and you've made it so simple. Just
it
putting
is.
from about you and how did you form, all the way to what those scholarships are and ways to donate. But you also mentioned on the website that there was this Vineyard and Vines fundraising event. Was this a one-off event? How did that event go that you held in December?
It went really well. Again, it was just kind of something out of the blue. Vineyard Vines was looking to, contribute more money to nonprofits, and they did a search through the records and found that we're a local nonprofit, and they gave us a call and said, "Hey, this is what we want to look at doing." And we're like, "Yes, absolutely. It's an easy um, avenue to get revenue without really doing anything, and it gets our word and it gets us in front of people as well, to talk about our foundation and where we're going with it." So it turned out really well, during the Christmas shopping time. So we were very happy with it, and probably making an semi-annual thing through Vineyards to do that as well.
Yeah. So here's a question that's always a little bit, I don't discount the business when I ask it, but am allowing you to share kind of your difference, right, and highlighting it as strength that you have. There's a lot of nonprofits that are out there, a lot of community organizations, and sometimes we feel like we see that all the time, right? Or we hear as a business, we may hear from folks that want us to donate to this or that, etc. So how do you differentiate yourself in a market that you are around other nonprofits and there are so many other ways that people can give? So I would ask, what makes you unique? I already know that, what exactly it is, but I would ask, why your nonprofit and not another foundation or a scholarship that's out there?
Again, it's our story. It's the legacy that we're giving Zach, and it hits home for people, and most of all, it's about pursuing your dreams. That's what Zach had. He had that dream of being a pilot. He wanted to do that, and that's what drove him to do his service to the country and be on a carrier to learn about planes. And then once he got out, he went to the highest education he could receive through Embry-Riddle. And really, I mean, we're just personable. We want you to be part of our organization. When we give you that scholarship, we're going to bring you into our tournament. We're going to give you Tailwinds of Hope merchandise. We want to meet your family. We want you to be a part of our life, because we're actually living through your kids for Zach, since Zach's not with us anymore. So that's our story, and that's the kind of thing we want to portray, and we're open, and we want to share all those feelings in front of people. So it not only helps with the education, but grief is a hard thing in today's society, and we're trying to make that better for people too, that hey, you can move on and you can make things better because of accidents and death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's there's a lot of, as you were talking, it's like I bet it's somewhat cathartic for you to kind of go through this as well, and sharing kind of those other challenges that people face in their life, and having that mutual understanding that it's a challenge, and it's a huge one, but comes from it so many opportunities and so many ways that you can bless other people throughout it. So I loved that you shared that. I've been peppering you with so many questions, John, until now. Until this is the time that I usually say, if you have something that I did not get a chance to ask you, or that you were hoping to get out here on this platform and wanted us to know, that you can kind of use this time to do that.
For us, our big message is, we want to be a huge part of the community. We want to give back to the community. We've been blessed with ability and resources to give back. And like I said, a lot of people, when there's grief and there's accidents and there's death, it kind of bogs you down, and you can't move forward. But for us, that's the only way we can go is forward. Right now, we can't go back, can't bring things back. So the only way to do that is move forward. And being able to get a scholarship, 3 scholarships a year to people in the city of Westminster, is a huge thing. And we love to see the joy on the students and their families' lives with that scholarship.
Yeah, I know it's a need that we constantly have, and it's we get those questions often, on what are some funds that are out there from just kids that are looking for access. So it's always nice to be aware of partners in the community that take this up and really go at it, because it's a lot of work that you are doing, and it's not an easy process, but its impact is so profound, and that's why you keep doing what you're doing. I've included the website for folks in here, of course, in the chat section. And you also provided a way for people to contact you. So I'll go ahead and just include that in the chat section as well, and pull it on the screen. And so for folks that want to reach John directly, you can always email him. That's tailwindsofhope@gmail.com. The website, of course, where you can find upcoming events, where you can donate, where you can learn more about the organization and just kind of help spread the word about it to people in your network, is also included in the comments section for you, and I'm quickly flashing it once again on our page so that those of you that if you are on here with us, whether it's right now in real time or later on, can be able to review this video and pull some of the content information. Of course, they're also on all things social media. So if you are someone that's interested in trying to share their work out and trying to get people to see their information on their social platform, you can find them on facebook.com. That's Tailwinds of Hope. And once again, those are some super neat ways that you can learn about the organization, or if you're not in a position in supporting them and spreading the message, because the support doesn't have to be monetary. It can also be in really letting people know.
Well, and the other thing for us too is it takes a lot of people to put on this tournament every year. So we always need volunteers during our tournament time to make it flawless. So like you said, it's not about donation as well. It's part of being a community. And one of our kind of interesting and things that we pride ourselves is one of the sponsorships we have. It's a first responders sponsorship. And we want businesses to sponsor first responders, either as police, fire, medical field people, and pay their green fees for the day so that they can come out and play for free and enjoy the day that we bring out there for them. So that's kind of our big signature sponsorship that we look to push every year.
Oh, that's awesome. I will, once we get offline, I know a business that always has a pool dedicated for those types of activities. In fact, they've done a couple of kind of ice center type of events. And around COVID, we had gone out to some of our fire departments and donated food and everything in large part because they were able to sponsor some of those costs. So I think that was a great plug-in at the end, because I know some people are very interested in supporting our law enforcement, public safety officers. This is a great avenue to do that. We've touched on a number of things. We had John for a very short period of time, but I know his impact is lasting so much longer on all of us, especially if you really listen in at the start of this broadcast. You'll know what sets the tone for the great work that he's doing and the impact in our community. I'd ask that, of course, you hit the share button on this video so others in your network can see it. And that if you are tuned into it later on and we're no longer live and you're like, oh my gosh, I had this question I really wanted to ask, you can shoot it in an email over to John. We have the email address for you. Popping it once again onto this page. If you're not comfortable commenting on the video, you can always email. If you're uncomfortable emailing for whatever reason, you can always also message our page. We'll get that over to John and be able to get you your answer taken care of. If you are out on the road today, be careful. It's supposed to snow. There's a little bit of sheet of thin ice that's out there already. And I thank you so much for tuning in to our broadcast today with John from Tailwinds of Hope. John, thank you so much for being a part of this and opening up yourself to me and to this broadcast.
Thank you guys for being a part of it. It means a lot to us that we're a part of the community.